Welcome back, everybody. It's time. We've got a draft here beginning. Before we get into that, I'd like to introduce my co-caster, Winter. Game 5 hype. It's IG versus EHOME. Still feels very even. Nothing really separating these two teams going into the final game. What are your thoughts about the final game, Winter? As I unmute you. There you go. Now you can talk.
The same, like whoever gets the better strategy, you know.
Okay.
Gets the better lanes, maybe side better exchange in terms of early game farm will come up ahead.
They let Leshrac through. This is a risk. They get Gyrocopter. This did not work for them in game 3, but they feel confident they can make some adjustments.
They went Earthshaker over Lesh, but they got Gyro and Rubik. I thought they were going to do something different.
The problem is they've made the decision they want to ban Tusk, no matter what. So when EHOME have first pick, if you ban Tusk, you can only ban one of Lesh or Gyro, so the other will always sneak through. So instead of banning Lesh or Gyro, they just leave both there so they get a one-for-one trade.
Yeah, EHOME will probably just pick either Clock or Spirit Breaker here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spirit Breaker comes out. The other thing interesting to note, like you can understand IG, they want to just keep first banning the Tusk, is every single game EHOME have banned Shadow Fiend. That, to me, is a little bit surprising, but showing a lot of respect to 430.
Well, then the Brood Mother ban again for lore every game, apart from that Techies game.
Which was a learning experience, I'm sure. They're like, oh, right, we've got to, ban this hero. So, we'll see how things go from here for the two teams. For IG, the Chuan Rubik was massive in game 1, and Rubik works so well with the Gyrocopter, so they can deal with pretty much any offlaner that comes their way with this. And EHOME will probably learn... I mean, I imagine EHOME will actually run CTY again on the Leshrac. They seem to have had their most success when CTY has been on these more like mid-type heroes. Like when he's playing the Lesh or the Storm, that's when EHOME have looked really good. So I imagine EHOME are likely still looking for a mid laner for Old Chicken, like the Dragon Knight.
They don't really play a traditional carry on the safe lane. They always have two semi-carries on the team. That's
Sometimes they do with the Jug, but...
I mean, Jug is also like a carry that can fight very well early. So basically, the name of the game is just everyone is ready to fight at all times. And this game feels like maybe... I know IG haven't been picking Clock a lot, but might be this game though. Might be this game that they need to go back to the Clock.
Lua is Undying. They prefer putting Lua on his comfort heroes, which to me is Brood, Spirit Breaker, and Undying. Those are probably the three big ones.
Yeah, it might also be the fact that you don't really want to give away Undying plus Spirit Breaker with the Lash together. So this is going to be a very typical like C deck type of draft, you know, where we saw at TI a lot. We saw it on the safe lane when you have a carry that can go jungle very much, and you're on dire side, you can go Roche. Then you have maybe a mid TA. I know you mentioned Dragon Knight though, but with this lineup, maybe TA would actually have much more synergy.
I really don't like picking TA into Gyrocopter just because in those fights, like you get your Deso Blink, you still can't fight because Rocket Barrage just instantly tears apart Refraction. Like I feel like TA matches up really badly against Gyro. It almost plays into IG's hands in some ways.
I mean, that's one thing, you know, but still it fits their... I think it's okay with their lineup though.
It helps them as far as like the taking objectives, taking Roshan, playing kind of defensively, but you know IG are going to be running at you looking to fight. Especially now with this Queen of Pain pickup. They haven't got the Spirit Breaker, which is the big thing they're kind of lacking here. But I'll have to wait and see what that last hero will be. That secondary support to go with the Rubik.
But for EHOME, they're still looking for a semi-carry, you know?
Interesting to know, EHOME have decided that the Winter Wyvern they've been favoring is just not a pick that's working out that well for them. The Visage makes sense because it's physical damage that can deal with the Tombstone. The Familiars...
It's long cooldown as well, though, because we were mentioning about cooldown. So,
and Cold Embrace doesn't help against Rocket Barrage. And
Wyvern has a very long cooldown ultimate, even though it's very powerful. So it's not very suitable for what they want to run, which is constant fighting.
Yeah. I think it's like with the Gyron on the picture, you maybe consider it, but with Gyro there, it's like that extra little tipping point where it's like, okay, they've got a gyro now. We saw last game, like, you cold embrace someone, it just sets up for a rocket barrage or even a cooldown sometimes, so doesn't necessarily... Cold embrace can backfire often. For EHOME, I've got a question as far as the Spirit Breaker goes, because this could be a roaming support.
There's a bounty hunter though. If they don't want to run Spirit Breaker as a support, they can still maybe run bounty.
That's what I was thinking about. I was like, I feel like they may want 11 on a more teamfight oriented hero, so they get Clockwork for him, and that puts Spirit Breaker as the secondary support with the Visage.
Good versus the gyro though, but I'm not sure though. Maybe they don't really have too many tempo controlling offlaners left anyway. It's one of the few remaining in the pool. Clockwork. He's gonna be able to at least get some experience from the lane. Dire side with the cog blocks, much easier to do, but the lane is still gonna be tough for him since it's a big gyro. Whether we'll see the Spirit Breaker helping him, not so sure, because as Clock, generally what it's most important for is the level, so that's why you rarely see Clock in dual lanes. Sometimes the European teams, they do Clock plus Keeper. I've seen that a lot, maybe from Secret and NIP. They like to do Keeper of the Light plus Clock, but generally you don't see Clock in a dual lane too much because he's able to survive by himself and just get the solo experience that he needs.
Alright, well, EHOME looking either for a mid or a safe lane farmer depending on how they want to run the Leshrac. Most of the time you see this hero mid, but with EHOME, it was CTY who last played it, and it does always fit their style. If they pick a safe lane farmer for CTY, it's got to be something that can fight earlier than a Slack, because you're against the gyro Undying. The Slack pick doesn't work here. And if you go for a mid, you're pretty open as far as possibilities. I like the last bound, the IO.
I think mid is much more, like you mentioned, a lot more options you can have. If you put the Lash against the Undying, then you have a lot of choices in mid lane. It makes your draft much more flexible. And IG is looking... Well, it's a support Undying, so it's offlane Brew, maybe with the Undying together on one lane.
Yeah, so that's a pick we just did not see coming at all. Luo actually plays a sick Brewmaster too.
Actually, wait. I think it might be mid Brewmaster and Queen of Pain Undying offlane.
Oh, the 430 Brew maybe. I mean, they've got two great brew players.
Then their lanes look much better with the Queen Undying offlane. They can actually threaten more.
It probably depends a bit what EHOME pick, and it's going to be a Lesh mid by the looks of things with a Clinks pickup for EHOME. Good physical damage to bring down a Tombstone in the mid game when you've got Death Pact up. Your Searing Arrows don't work, but if you've got a Death Pact going, you can bring it down fast with Strafe, and it will be a Brewmaster versus Lesh mid potentially, as 430 for now has picked up the Brewmaster, which does raise some questions about how the Brewmaster will fare in this potential 1v1 matchup.
You're gonna lose the lane. It's just about getting experience and what's the trade-off you get, because you're much more better at team fighting compared to Lash early on. The early team fight should be dominated by the Brewmaster. He's gonna rely on the Queen Undying to be, suppressing the Kling's farm, maybe controlling the Visage as well. Then when they are actually weak, the Brewmaster level 6 will kick in, and he's gonna make rotations to win the other lanes, I feel.
Yeah. I like that idea, because the Klinks does struggle in the laning stage against a pesky dual lane with an Undying. Like, an Undying Queen lane can cause them a lot of problems here, so...
Wait, dude, I need to be right back 1 minute. I need to collect my food. I ordered food.
Okay. Well, I'll do the introduction and carry the show. Although, maybe I won't, because Perfect World currently not cooperating. We'll quickly reconnect, guys, then we'll introduce our two teams here. It is Game 5, the decider between EHOME and Invictus Gaming. The winner will be going to Singapore to compete in the Nanyang Championships as the victor of the Chinese qualifier. Hopefully we'll just get right back into this game. Last time around, this worked out. So fingers crossed. Works again. We'll be patient. Sometimes it does its thing where it just takes a few seconds to get me back in. Maybe we're not getting back in. Who knows? Let's. There we go. Woo! Nope. Didn't work. Reconnect. Let's go again. Alright, this is looking a bit better. Or at least on a loading screen now.
What? Did anything happen?
I don't know. I disconnected. You tell me. Did anything happen?
No, nothing so far.
Any
Everyone's
wards?
just trying to get the bounty run, and there's wards somewhere. on the map.
Okay.
But it's very common wards, no deep wards.
Klink's is going to invis in, try scout some information, maybe even snag a rune. But unlikely to be too successful here. He gets it!
That's what you said.
Okay. They didn't prep the sentry ward, and Klink's gets away with a bounty rune. That's going to help him a lot against this aggro lane.
It's quite costly at the same time because of you don't have searing arrows for the first level.
He's going to get level 2 quite quickly, though. And, I mean, he's against a Rubik gyro lane. He's going to have to play pretty defensive. I don't know. To me, it seems to be okay.
But he's going to be sharing, it's going to take him, 2 creeps? Because they're sharing.
Yeah. Probably like 1 wave, I guess we'll get it. Depends. Oh, it's a deny for one thing. He got 6 XP off of that deny. It's going to take a while.
Another deny. Oh my god.
GG.
And Undying in the lane. He doesn't have searing arrows. He's not going to last hit, man. Deny. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
didn't get that deny.
He's just leeching XP. He's saying, start pulling, guys. Get this wave under my tower so I can last hit under tower.
3 denies in the first wave. And they have a Queen versus Clockwork, 1v1.
Okay. We've seen this 11 versus Luo matchup. Last time it didn't go so well for Luo. That was a Tusk versus Queen.
Last time it was a Clock. Last time it wasn't a Clock. Last time it was Tusk.
Yeah.
Tusk is much better.
It is much better, but 11 has outplayed Luo in the past, and that probably gives him some confidence going into a 1v1 here against Luo.
Yeah, I want to say it's 50-50. Both the solo lanes, because Lash will have an advantage over Panda.
Yeah.
And Queen will have advantage over Clock. So Panda has actually opted to go for the Drunken Haze, Ferrari. Against range heroes, it's very useful at negating a lot of the harass that you can actually do through early phases. It
just, negates a lot of the damage output coming out onto you, forces Lesh to use his mana to last hit in the Lightning Storm, so...
Here comes a charge.
That gets quickly cancelled. I think maybe just getting him to the rune a bit faster as well.
Yeah, true. I don't think they wanted to kill because there was no way they could have gotten that kill.
Bounty rune is there, and Spirit Breaker will take it. So, in brighter news, Klink's has managed to get some levels. He's up to level 2, and they're getting this double pull off. So this is the one thing IG have to be wary of. Like, they're aggro trailing much stronger, but they can be starved of experience.
The charge coming in this time.
430, Rocket Flare is there. Is this going to be enough? Chuan gets a lift under the tower, pulls him back. There's enough mana for a clap after a bottle or two, and it's going to be first blood. Actually gets split between the two.
Every game, Chuan has been really on point on all these early rotations. I think we've seen this in maybe 3 out of 4 of the games.
Yep.
Keeping towards middle to help Ferrari every time he's in trouble. So
the one thing with
this support play.
This best of 5, it just feels like the teams, like skill-wise and team-wise, are pretty equal. Maybe even slightly EHOME favor, but IG are just hungrier. They really want this. You can tell just after losing yesterday in a best of 5, and to them, this would just be like proving a point that, hey, we lost yesterday, but you guys aren't better than us. They've gone in on top with a charge. Not really a fight they want to necessarily take. They've got a Soul Assumption, though. They can do some decent burst damage with the nuke. He's even got mana for 2 Soul Assumptions because he's got a Magic Stick here, so it is a dangerous point for IG to be wary of. This Soul Assumption can cause him some problems.
Yeah, Magic Sticks will be a huge deal in this lane. Like, everyone has to buy Magic Sticks in try versus try. So far, EHOME has 2 Magic Sticks on the Klings and the Visage, and
just
IG
one
have
on Rabbit.
Right?
Chuan could have bought one, but he decided not. Maybe looking to rush the Arcane Boots, but charge coming in. Rabbit's going to be the one they initiate on. I think just feeling confident because of that Soul Assumption. He gets Soul Rift back up. That heals him a little. They push back the Visage. That probably saves Gyro's life there. I think they realize what Lamb's trying to do here. Level 2 Soul Assumption. Huge burst damage potential. Good defensive play coming out from IG, but it's EHOME, the aggressors here.
It was also really important to note that Undying opted to go for the Soul Rift at level 2.
Yeah.
That would actually allow the Gyro to survive there with the heal. Otherwise, the Visage would have finished the kill with the Soul Assumption. And here comes the charge again. Chuan is in position. Man, he's again in position to help him.
Yeah. But if you're IG, are you worried that you're committed? Like, your aggro Trilent is forced to play defensively. For one thing, you don't have Tombstone. You went for Soul Rift. For another, your Gyro is being pushed back and getting zoned out by aggression. Is this a concern?
Yeah, and dude, this game is different, Last game, Slug versus Gyro. This game, Klings. Klings without items is also good, He just needs his levels and he's going to be able to help. So if the game goes the same way, EHOME is in a much better position because Klings without farm is different from Klings, Slug without farm. So EHOME is in a much better position. And here comes the charge again onto Rabbit. They have only 2 heroes here.
Well, Chuan's there, gets a lift off, but he's still in trouble. Soul Assumption will find him. There's a secondary Soul Assumption as well as a Grave Chill. He's got the Magic Wand charges, throws another Soul Assumption, gets a second kill. Lan on the Visage. Coming up big. Super's there with a Decay. That'll push him back, but he gets a solo kill, which is nice for Super because now he's got Tombstone, but net result heavily favors EHOME regardless. Just Undying a little happy because he's going to hit maybe level 4 fairly soon.
That was really big for them. Once again, we saw EHOME capitalize when IG sent 1 hero back to base to heal. They just took advantage of all these small openings.
Mid lane.
It was just very good play.
Pull him in. They've got the Primal Split. They're going to need to use it. It's going to be used to dodge the Split Earth. And here comes a charge. Pushes back the Primal Split Warriors. Old Chicken gets thrown up in the air, though. Looks like it should be his demise and will be brought down. Brewmaster. The first Primal Split of success. Again, it's Chuan. He's been everywhere this game. Definitely pulling his weight this game to keep IG in the early game. As 430 will secure the 6-minute rune, and Luo looking for the bottom rune but does not feel safe against the Clockwork of 11. Who gets a bounty rune. He's about to hit level 6. This bottom lane has been surprisingly even. Luo only with an 8 CS advantage. And both players level 6 soon. Clockwork about half a level behind. Now he hits level 6. He can look to rotate and help some of these other lanes fairly soon though. I say that, he misses a cogs, and he is a bit low in mana here.
Yeah, now Queen is also a threat, you know, when they dive top again.
Yes.
I think the Queen TPing top is actually much more scary than the Clockwork TPing top.
Clock
so
has
I just gonna...
It's mid lane. Queen of Pain's TP'd in mid. They're looking for another kill on the Leshrac. Sonic Wave is there with the Scream. Luo. Smart rotation. Protects 430 when his Primal Split's down and gets a kill on the Leshrac.
Everything is going by the book now. Every rotation... Everything is just, they're using all their spells really well, both of the teams. Utilizing all the small windows, you know. We saw it from EHOME a while ago when IG sent the Undying back to base on their trident and there were only 2 heroes and they immediately jumped on that. And once Queen had her level 6 at bottom, she TP'd in towards middle when there was an opening when they were jumping onto his Brewmaster. So both of the teams just utilizing all these moments, you know, very well.
It's just surprising. The one lane that hasn't gone well for IG is the aggro tri lane. That's the one lane you look at this and you're like, that lane will win, surely. It's Undying with a Rubik and Gyrocopter. That's some serious pain and kill potential, but EHOME have just played it well, used the pull camps, used the power of the Visage.
I think being able to use the pull camp was the biggest turning point for them because they couldn't ward it off. And
if they warded it off, it would have been a very different lane.
Yeah, because they were able to get more experience on, especially the Visage. That's why it was huge for them.
We could tell just from the first creep wave, like Clinkz was in all sorts of trouble. There were 3 denies. Like even when he got Searing Arrows, he was still going to get denied a lot. But once they got the pull camps, it gets the wave under the tower. Clinkz can last hit under the tower using those Searing Arrows, so it really salvaged things.
Really want things to shut down this Queen of this Clinkz.
Here comes 430, and they know they've de-warded the lane. They had a sentry ward there. They took out the lane ward, and they're getting aggressive. Do not get the lift. They get the dust off with the Shadow Strike here. They brought in the whole team. It's 5 heroes chasing after poor CTY. He says, have mercy, guys. Leshrac will show up, misses the Split Earth. I don't think he wants to fight into these 5 heroes regardless, but Clockwork's here. Solar Assumption versus Rubik. He's got a hook shot. Who's he going to go for? Doesn't have a good target. The Primal Split Warrior is not really something he wants. He wants Rabbit on the Gyrocopter. Not going to go for that hook shot. In the backlines, it's Luo getting another kill. Has a blink available in 8. 11 hits the hook. Battery Assault to follow. They'll get the kill. That's 1 kill going the way of EHOME, looking for a second. 430's ultimate's worn off, and Old Chicken's got another Lightning Storm. He gets a second kill. This is where Leshrac can shine. He's got more Lightning Storms to start throwing out. Chuan may just have to be the sacrificial lamb. Nope, they go for Rabbit instead. Can they get a second one off? They betcha. They've got a charged Lightning Storm. That cast range, absolutely absurd. He's out of mana now, but here comes Gyro. Rocket Barrage at the ready. They're not going to chase, though. They decide against it. Chuan there, being scattered by CTY. Out of mana. Here comes Gyro from the high ground. They've got a Tombstone deployed. They've got to deal with that tomb, I believe. Soul Assumption gets Gyro low. They bring him down. 11 going to be the casualty of war here. They get the tomb, though. Blink in. Scream. Sonic Wave catches everyone. Luo with the perfect placement. CTY will push him away, though. Luo's got another Scream. Needs the blink up. Brewmaster, meanwhile, catches that Lesh thanks to all the damage done from Luo. What a hero this fight. As Spirit Breaker mid gets the Rubik. Absolute chaos and carnage everywhere. It's not over yet. Luo wants more. He wants Kaka, and you betcha he'll get him. CTY Death Pact is still up for some time now. This is just like 10 bears put in a ring and said, let's go, free for all, everybody fight. You can't even tell who's fighting who anymore. Absolute bloodbath.
This is the game where it's not going to be a one-sided game because it's the last game.
Well, we get a game 5, Winter. We sure as hell get a game 5. The levels are there for all hit players. Oh, blink dodge on the hooks.
You know, that fight actually lasted so long. Queen actually died at the start of the fight.
At top, yeah. And came back in for that Sonic Wave caught, got a double kill, and then hit 2 other heroes who later on ended up dying. Brewmaster finished off 1, and then the Spirit Breaker, Luo himself, finished off.
And can you believe they were fighting the whole time without cooldown?
Oh, Gyro was not level 6. Oh my gosh. Imagine if Rabbit was level 6. That's where that aggro tri-lane not working out has somewhat crippled IG's mid-game. They made up for it with Luo. I imagine IG are going to get aggressive again. They've got Primal Split once more. They've got a smoke on 430. They're ready to fight some more. Cooldown, Rocket Barrage. Yep, Gyro's TPing mid. He says, let's go.
Sonic Wave is coming online 40 seconds. So
oh, yeah.
It's about go time for them. And they're leaving a lane to Undying, which is important as well. He wants to get his level 7 as fast as possible.
Well, they may just smoke towards top. That tier 1 tower top could be an important objective for them to get, but for now they are eyeing off mid lane. Clockwork, fairly tanky, but they've got the firepower.
By the way, Rubik also used buyback the last fight, so it's a minor thing, but they definitely use one of the buybacks.
Yeah. Not a huge investment. It was 300 gold. But
oh, Old Chicken is going to get caught here, possibly.
Yep. 430 has the blink flap and not going to use the Primal Split. Cooldown is there for some additional slow. The Split Earth will land. Old Chicken going to get Rocket Barrage down as Rabbit will make sure they finish him off. Is there a counterplay coming out? TP top from the Rubik. IG want to make sure they have numbers here. Should a fight break out? CTY's there with the Split Earth. 430 knows he needs to use the Primal Split. He blinked in aggressively, found himself in a tough spot. They're going to Yules him up. In comes the charge. Not the best from Kaka, only caught the Primal Split Warriors. And now the Scream from Queen of Pain goes through, cleans up the Visage. Nether Strike not even going to be cast here. All that's left for the Visage is to micro those familiars, and CTY, his death pack's worn off. He's been dusted up, although he's far enough back, it's not going to matter. 11 goes down. IG underneath a tier 2 tower. Hey guys, by the way, there's still a tier 1 to deal with. IG, we don't care. We want kills. We got this.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And they're really making their lineup shine so much with the Undying. Now once he has level 7 and the cooldown, every spell is available. Except for Rubik.
There was a time when IG coined the face rush strat, and that was with like a different style of like bounty hunter Sven, like all this movement speed stuff.
Night Stalker TA
yes.
Bounty Hunter.
Yes, all this like bonus move speed stuff where you just chase down your opponent's diamond on the tower. That's what they're doing here. It's very reminiscent of that old school IG face rush where they ignore towers. They were diving people like at tier 2s mid behind tier 1s in the olden days, and they're doing it once more. This is IG at their finest.
They have a really good lineup as well this game to do that. So the recipe for success for them against EHOME is to do aggro tri-lane and get 1v1 on both lanes.
Well, the games they struggled in yesterday, it just seemed like they were trying to just play maybe too much of the farm game, play a bit too passive. When they
and they mainly got destroyed as well by rotations that EHOME made. Because they went for standard lanes and EHOME supports were much better at making rotations successful in other lanes.
And it seems like the Rubik pick has been huge for them as well. Chuan, he's not even level 6 yet, but we've just seen his impact around the map. Even though his score isn't that impressive, he's prevented the early game ganks and rotations from happening. He's set up kills elsewhere. He's just been like that instrumental defensive support for this team.
And EHOME is getting desperate to get something going here. They rotated everyone into the opponent's jungle, looking for a better angle. They need to wait for the Clinks to get his death pack up.
Clinks is hoping for a creep here, but there's not going to be one for another 5 seconds. He's got to wait for the respawn. CTY eager to backstab, perhaps. But IG, for the most part, I'm about to say, they've got to be wary of the fact that they have no vision of their jungle. EHOME's been missing. They've got a Radiant Observer and Sentry duo here to scout out a potential Clinks rotation. If Clinks gets too close, they will see him with that Sentry Observer combo. And EHOME just back to hovering around mid lane. Yep, Clinks has been scouted. He gets pulled back in. The dust is there to slow him down as well. He's still pretty fast here, but not fast enough to outrun this combo. Oh, IG were ready for him. They even dropped the tombstone. A bit of an overcommitment, but it's worth it. They don't know who's sitting behind him. They want to make sure they're ready for a fight.
Dude, they have a Blade Mail on the Queen.
I like it. In fact, Winter, I love it. This is perfect for their playstyle and the way this game is going. You don't
It's
need
really
no
good
orchid.
versus. Yeah, it's really good versus a lot of the stuff they have. Like you can't control the damage on Lash Rock especially.
Lesh, I mean, even just like soul assumptions flying around, battery assault. Clinks, if he's trying to focus you down, you suddenly can't. Blink in, clap with a primal split. They're going to go in on Lan M. They'll use the Sonic Wave to get the kill nice and fast, and easy peasy. Everything's looking pretty honky-dory here for IG as they're going to focus down the tier 1 tower, or will they? Kaka goes in, the chain stun is there. Luo doesn't get the blade mail, gets soul ripped up. Blink escape is there. He's not going to look for the blink, he's going to look for a scream. He gets some return kills. Leshrac will finally be able to bring him down. The lightning storm, I think, chased him back to the river. As EHOME looking for a hook shot is 11. What can they find here? TP out. Hook! Super gets caught, and CTY there to offer some assistive damage. And looking to bring down an ancient.
2 for 2 and a tower. Still IG favored at the end of the day. But they had to blow a lot of cooldowns for that. The Panda and
IG
the
favored,
Sonic
but Lesh got much needed gold. Old Chicken got a 750 gold streak off of the Queen of Pain and suddenly has 2k gold. So we're looking at Old Chicken actually. He needs the tanky items. He needs that Bloodstone ASAP for the HP. So while the trade itself was maybe IG favored, I feel like that's still the trade EHOME were looking for in some ways, just because of how much it's going to help the Lesh.
Yeah, because they used Sonic Wave on one hero though. They wanted to punish it. If they still had Sonic Wave in the fight, I think the Lash would have also died in the fight. But because they use it on Solo and Lamb, it allowed the Lash to actually survive later on.
Well, one thing IG have to be wary of is their late game not looking amazing right now. Rabbit has very much played that fighting Gyrocopter to the extreme, where his farm is really fallen off. He is not looking like any kind of a late game Gyrocopter at this point, so they've got to be a little bit concerned about that should this game drag on. And as a result, I definitely expect to see IG continue to be aggressive.
And they're Panda and Undying as well. 2 of the heroes that doesn't really scale well into late game, so they need to make use of their heroes' levels and strength right now.
Well, even Queen of Pain going for a blade mail. This is not like a let's start itemizing towards the late game necessarily. It is kind of a stop-off item, but
yeah, he's gonna probably go Aghanims after this as well. I don't think you go off it after the blade mail.
Chuan walks in, has the dust available, pops it. CTY is far enough away, but he's got charge! Gets the lift as well, pulls him back into a clap. The cooldown as well. They're going to get CTY, or will they? The primal split and everything. This dust about to wear off. CTY will survive. EHOME, can they punish this? Can they turn this one around? Kaka is low. Gets healed back up by a magic wand. They're going to change tack. Chuan finds a new charge target. It's a defensive Yule. Sonic Wave will not catch the Lesh. Nice hook from 11, just used to protect the Lesh rack. The Yules from the primal split actually working against IG there, perhaps. Blink, clap on 2. Old Chicken going to turn and fight. He's not bought anything yet, and as a result, he's still very squishy. And IG, kill 3 behind tier 2 towers. The face rush is happening, and IG somehow come out on top. The Clinks may have survived, but they found other kills, and important kills at that.
Yeah, they were fighting into a tombstone, you know, that was the problem. They can't really go over to the Klink's assistance, even though Klink survived in the end, but it put his teammates in a very compromising position. So even the aggression didn't kill the Klink.
Charge in bottom. He's hoping for some 17% action, but the TP will keep him alive. The one thing I don't like that Old Chicken's done is he's bought the Bloodstone recipe. He needs a point booster. He needs just those stat items on him. If he has a point booster and a vitality booster that fight, that's like, he could have bought the soul booster by now. Instead, he bought a Bloodstone recipe, and I feel like that's really cost him. He's sitting on 900 HP.
He probably would have actually dropped one more spell or maybe even survived though, because he barely died. Yeah. Without the point booster there.
I feel like the way he's built up towards this Bloodstone has really hurt EHOME.
And sometimes you even see players they go for just the point booster instead of going for arcanes first as well.
Yep.
And you keep the null, so you just sell the null first. I think it's much better. I agree with you.
Lesh is definitely a hero to fight with early. You need the HP.
Yeah. Unless you're just farming so quick that it doesn't really matter though.
Yep.
Like when you're very much ahead, you can get the Bloodstone before you start fighting again.
And you've got the Soaring, so you don't need the Arcane Boots to farm really when you've got the Soaring. The Soaring bottle is enough to sustain your mana constantly, to spam out, farm neutral stacks, farm waves.
It's just greedy though, like you get Arcane bottle and the Soaring together.
He's got it now in 70 gold, so he'll have it for the next fight, but...
Yeah, this game is more or less needs him to be much more farm though. That's why maybe he's thinking that he needs to do a lot of catching up. So
I don't think he wanted to fight. I think he bought it just because he wasn't expecting EHOME to fight. Like the strategy was very much we don't fight, but when you get smoke gank dived at your tier 3 top tower, you've got to fight. So IG just forced a fight, which he was not expecting. So it's not entirely like to say, oh, he's made it like the reasoning was very much sound that hey, we're not fighting. I can just build up to my item in a greedy way, but IG just forced the issue.
And Luo is actually going for probably a Hex after the premium. That's the ultimate op. I didn't expect that.
Okay.
But he's one of the few pop players so that likes to go for Hex first all the time.
Okay.
It's gonna be useful against the Klings, I guess.
Yeah. Try and lock him down before he pops a BKB. CTY is going to be rushing that BKB as his first item. It's when you know you're having a rough time as a Klinks if you've got a rush BKB. Not seeing any medallion build up, no Desolator. Items he can look to go back for potentially, but...
And he's just basically dying to all the nukes in the fights.
Yeah.
And even against the Panda, if you have BKB, you avoid the Fire Panda, the immolation damage, the burn damage from the Fire Panda. If you have BKB on, you don't take damage from that.
It's gonna skeleton walk towards top. Not sure what he's got in mind here. Probably just looking to get some more farm on, but a lot of raiding heroes missing. Looks like IG are grouping out for another smoke. I think they've got one left, I want to say. As I look at their items, none on the heroes. There's a smoke on Lamb at the moment, and there's no smoke available. It's on the courier. Surely they've got no smoke. They've used all their smokes to get this early game advantage. Diving behind tier 2s has come at a cost for IG. They've got to slow down and farm a little bit. Most importantly, farm their BKBs. Both Gyro and Brewmaster, both with a BKB now. Will limit Lesh's damage output in these next couple of fights dramatically with 10-second BKBs.
Yeah, they're gonna look to take another tier 1, then possibly Roshan after that as well. They can get a medallion up on someone.
What do you think about IG getting an early gem as well?
They definitely need it though, but they're not farm enough on the supports to buy it. So the cores need their like BKB, maybe the Panda should get it.
Not just for the Klings, but just for the map control.
Yeah, just for the map control when they're playing like this. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely important. It's just that the supports are not rich enough to get it. Maybe the Panda just has to get it on himself.
He's in position on the side here, looking for that initiation, and EHOME saying we can maybe look to take a fight here. CTY with BKB. No Blade Mail yet on Clockwork, but that Blade Mail going to be rendered somewhat ineffective against these Radiant BKBs. Ideally looking to hook, I don't know, the Rubik or something? Hard to even say. No good hook targets, basically.
No good hook targets, yeah. Maybe the Undying.
Yeah, and the Rubik Telekinesis may just be saved for him, so very hard game to get a good hook. He may just wait for, like, rather than be the initiator, he may look for, like, a mid-team fight hook on someone like the Queen of Pain to, after the Queen of Pain's used Blink. Oh, 430 comes in from the side, just goes in on Clockwork. Luo blinks to the high ground, gets a Shadow Strike off and everything. He's going to miss the hook escape. Klinks, meanwhile, brings down Dying down the back line. This fight being split up. They're going to kill the Gyro in BKB with the Klinks. Charge goes on through. 430's got to get an ulti off. Can he do so? The Split Earth will stop it. IG have lost 4. It's about to be 5. It's a team wipe. EHOME somehow power on through. They prevent the Split Earth from going. They burst down the Gyro during BKB. And now they're going to get a Roshan out of it. EHOME's team fight is just... Their ability to take team fights like that is insane. They have the item disadvantage, but they still somehow come out on top.
They were able to dish out just way too much damage though with the Lash and the Resort because they dive too deep, and like you mentioned as well, the Klings managed to take out the Undying at the start of the fight. So Undying didn't do anything. I don't think he even dropped the Tombstone for that fight. So that was actually a huge part. Didn't drop the Tombstone. They didn't get off cooldown, they didn't get off Panda ultimate, they only got off the Queen ultimate, so a lot of big spells because of the deep commitment, you know. It may look like it was bad because the Cloud missed everything and he didn't do much, but he actually made them chase so far, so he put his team in such a bad position.
The rest of his team was smart. They ignored the Brewmaster and went for the Undying. Like, they just said, okay, Brewmaster's going in behind our tower with a BKB and Primal Split, let's ignore him because we can't stop him getting split off until his BKB's worn off. So they completely ignored him and then just came back for him later and prevented his split.
Just far too deep though. They probably should have just focused. The tower was very close to dying, so they probably should have just focused the tower. It
Well,
was just 100 HP. And
it's a 5,000 gold swing off of that, and an Aegis in the hands of LaBalance Disco Pony. Old Chicken suddenly has a BKB coming up in just a second. He is well and truly fully recovered. Had the Bloodstone as well, so he's up to 13 charges. All 5 kills, adding to that tally. And all of a sudden, IG, they've got to be worried.
They had to win that fight as well because, again, they are in a similar position. Their late game is not as strong, so they needed to win and carry it on with the advantage. Though that mistake was so costly from Ferrari. I don't think they even needed to initiate that. They just needed to take the towers. They had 2 BKBs and wait for EHOME to jump them with the clock and just put your tombstone and split, and then you fight. They just got too confident there, jumping in. Mistakes were made, my friend.
Oh yeah. Let's see what the next move's going to be. Chuan at top.
Chuan might die here.
Yeah, this is a lot of damage output from a Clinks. If he's fast with the lift, he should be fine.
He can pop his BKB to get the kill though, so I'm still alive.
Not really worth it, I would say, but we'll see. Chuan may just back off. Yeah, he spams out the wave, he backs off, and he realizes, hey, there's bigger issues. Mid-tier 1 tower being sieged. Familiars come in, and looks like the tower can get down to deny range, and IG may just look to take this one out. Double damage rune is there for Leshrac, who's seems to be swinging towards top. So mid-tier 1 gets denied. We'll see. Actually, CTY, it's going to be left for him. He's going to bottle it up and everything. So he's got a double damage for the next fight. I like this kind of play. We've been seeing this more and more since like the old Cloud9 with Envy going for bottles often, or his teammates pulling in bottles so he could store a DD for a crucial moment. So
the late game bottle.
Yeah.
And he's terrible with illusion runes here.
Oh yeah. Well, especially on like certain heroes like Tiny or something with a late game DD bottle, can just be game winning. Well, they're going to just maybe backdoor this top tier 1 tower if they want to. They are kind of setting up here, hoping IG come at them. IG, by now, looking kind of like they're possibly aggressive. Doesn't look like they've got any smoke available. Actually, yeah, they've got one on Super, and they're going to go for it. They're headed straight top. EHOME are in a perfect position to scout this one out. 11 reveals himself, though. Old Chicken being pinged. Will they check the spot? He comes out now. He emerges. Has a BKB Aegis, though. He is not the target to go on. They now see Chuan as well as Gyrocopter. 430 in the front lines. What's he looking for? Finds familiars, blinks back defensively. Wasted smoke from IG. Perhaps fortunate that that fight didn't happen, because that did not look like a fight that was going to end favorably for them.
Yeah, I think if they can actually kill someone before the fight starts, not the Lash, then maybe they have a chance. But because Lash was the first target they saw, then the fight becomes really, really difficult for them. I think ideally you want to maybe find possibly the Visage or even his other teammates, maybe the Clinks, but not the Lash.
Clinks is a BKB, but
the Lash with the Aegis is just no chance.
Clockwork just showing himself. He doesn't care right now on the sides here. Holding on to that good old trusty Mango just to make sure he has the mana to pop the mech. He's got a lot of high mana spells now with mech as well as hookshot, but the Mango can help alleviate that problem. CTY on the roam. He's actually left his team alone at top, possibly looking to sneak a kill somewhere else, but doesn't look like he'll find it. His DD room procs, and this may just be Q to take the mid tier 2 tower with this double damage.
I don't think IG can defend this though. No. They have to at least wait for the Aegis to go.
It's about 20 seconds. They may look to make a jump soon. You're going to have to be fast. They've found the pick. Super gets 2-shotted by the Clinks. The pushback comes from the Rubik Telekinesis. 1 or 2 more right clicks. Going to do heavy damage to Rabbit on the high ground. The easy tier 2 tower. Still no glyph available, but EHOME fairly low in HP. They lose the Aegis. This will be Q to retreat as they charge on back, and it looks like EHOME going to be happy with what they've gotten. For IG, I feel like that one smoke they had, they maybe wanted to wait till the Aegis expired. They smoked top into an Aegis BKB Lash and got nothing out of it. And now they're playing without smoke for the next 8.5 minutes. So that's worrying, because they may not even have a smoke for Roshan. They are very limited strategically in what they can do. Meanwhile, on the EHOME side, you've got a double smoke on Spirit Breaker. They've got plenty of room to puff on up and go looking for kills.
Yeah, they even have the mech advantage as well. IG doesn't have enough resources to actually have the mech on Undying. And that fight was so costly. Even it might have even potentially lost them the game though, with the lineup they had.
Lost in the game, Winter. Lost in the tournament right now.
Lost them the tournament. Yeah.
That's how much this game matters to these two teams. We're in a Game 5 decider here, and one... I don't think you can really call it a small mistake, but one mistake, you think, okay, it's not going to lose us the game at this stage when we've got an advantage, but it's put IG in a really tough spot. They've lost complete control.
They have to try and get a pick off with the Hex though. Queen has a Hex now. Maybe get a key pick off somewhere and then turn things around.
Well, they don't want to go late game particularly. Gyrocopter not bad, but he's just not farmed enough.
It's not strong enough. Like he needs a lot more items.
He's being charged. He needs to TP. He's not going to TP yet. Spirit Breaker's going to reach him. Where's the secondary TP? EHOME need more than one. Here we go. It's Leshrac TPing in top. Rabbit goes for the TP. Oh, it's the worst possible timing. He's trapped now. There's no point even using your BKB. He's completely trapped. He can BKB, but he's got no TP. He will use it. Not sure that was the right play. He's going to get hooked as well. Oh. If he'd just waited for the charge and the Nether Strike, maybe he could have gone for, like, waited to BKB TP afterwards and pray to the RNG gods.
He would have, what, 83% chance of surviving?
Yeah. Well, it would be more than one right click, so who knows. He'd have a 17% chance of surviving Winter, let's just say. But it would have been better than what he left there instead. He didn't know the charge was coming. He just went for the TP and...
It was nighttime vision, so he couldn't see.
This dire vision sees a lot. And is that a gem? Yep, it is. Luo has been pulled one by 430. We talked about this earlier. Whoa, 430. Defensive BKB comes out, and this is where you can easily, clearly tell. IG are rattled. They're spooked by EHOME, and they've lost complete control of this game. The dire vision is just immaculate. The Roche control is there. EHOME will be eyeing off Roshan as soon as it respawns. They've got an MKB on CTY now, so his damage has amped up, and this is a great item against the evasion of the Brewmaster. They can get one... If they can stun him with the Spirit Breaker, they can look to burst him down with the help of this MKB Clinks.
And things are looking really tough now for them. CTY has just more than enough damage, like you said, to take anyone out. And IG needs to rely on somehow the Rubik to steal maybe a key spell and disable someone. Like maybe the charge or the Nether Strike from the Spirit Breaker.
That's the thing with this game. It's not like an amazing Rubik game as far as spells to steal. Not bad by any means.
Speed up would be good as well. Lock down someone.
Yep. Steal the familiars. That'd be handy.
You wish.
Man can dream. If he has to resummon them in a fight, you never know. Gyro flacks him down. He resummons. Bam. Stolen. And IG are just moving out. They've got the... I think that's good. Really good they bought the gem because they don't have any smoke. So especially if they want to contest Roshan, they have to deward the map. And they've now managed to... Oh, they haven't... Yeah, okay, now they'll deward.
That was a really good point. When you don't have when you have a smoke, it's not necessary to have a gem because you can bypass the wards. But when you don't have smoke, you definitely need a gem.
Well, they haven't got the gem in the front lines. The hook doesn't catch out the Brew. It catches out the back lines instead. Brew goes in with the BKB up front. Luo has hexed up Old Chicken. Can they bring him down? Sonic Wave is there, goes through the BKB, but Luo survives narrowly on low HP. 430 will knock it off the Primal Split. They killed the Clinks, though, in the middle of all that. Meanwhile, in the back lines, they got the Spirit Breaker as well. This Gyrocopter doing some work here. Clinks buys back. They want to fight Roshan, perhaps, or they just want to fight into IG, who are weakened by the lack of their Brewmaster. No buyback available on 430. Luo's gone in. Will catch out Old Chicken. He's got no BKB for now. The homing missile chasing. There's the BKB from Rabbit. A lot better this time around, but unfortunately, the Yule Scepter will dodge the missile, and Rabbit will be forced back. Now the Battery Assault is causing him problems. It's going to be a Hex onto 11. It's not going to be enough. He goes down. Luo, Blink Scream, takes out Clockwork, but now he needs an escape plan, which he does not have. 4 dead. The Clinks buyback pays off big time. What a time to buy back.
They're going to force a buyback. They're going to try and force a buyback on IG. The creep is just pushing so far into IG's territory. This is looking from bad to worse.
You know, most players at that point on Clinks would just be like, okay, I died. Let's just not risk losing anything more and not buy back, because they weren't going to lose Roshan by any means, but that buyback gets a couple of kills and now forces out buybacks on the other side by pressuring high ground.
And they can go for Rosh now.
CTY showing he's not afraid to make the hard decisions. He's still holding on to the bottle as well. Leshrek's upgraded. And it's going to be an Octarine core next coming out for Old Chicken. Pinging out Roshan, and you got to imagine CTY is headed there after another Death Pact. Although he needs to find a creep first for that, which not many really good ones presenting themselves. But for now, they're actually not headed towards Roshan, whereas IG, though, playing in the dark, are worried that Roshan is the call. Still no smoke for 3 minutes on their side. On the Dire side, you've got a smoke in a minute and a half. Rabbit walks on in, sees nothing. Smoke status, yeah, gone through them all, and it's IG who are going to risk this one. Clockwork rocket flares even scatter them out. They're still going for it, though. IG, this is a Hail Mary if I've ever seen one. Be ready for the hook shot. Be ready for the initiation. No way EHOME let this go down without a fight. In comes Old Chicken. Sonic Wave not good from Lure. Rabbit in the front lines with a BKB. Going to just try and flak down as much as he can. He's going to get bashed up. Nether Strike is there. And the Clinks just tearing through IG. Now out comes the Primal Split, but they've already lost Gyro. They've lost the Undying. Queen of Pain's on the run. And these Primal Split warriors, not much they can do except feed a third additional kill their way. Chuan on the higher ground still. Skeleton Walk. Nice little cheeky play. Will keep him alive. Can 430 get the blink out? No. The Edict was there. The Yule's into a split earth. Down goes 430. Dare I ask, what were IG thinking trying to sneak that? Not even sneak it. What were they trying to do? Go for that Rosh in plain sight.
Desperate play. They know they're not going to win if they keep the game at the same pace. Huh?
If they give EHOME an Aegis, it's looking really grim for them, so... It felt like the better move was just trying to contest it, but they went for something a bit more... You can't even call it unpredictable, because EHOME scattered it out instantly with a rocket flare. It's almost like IG didn't notice the rocket flare, because they just stood in there waiting to be initiated.
It was like they know what's going on, it's just that they had no choice, you know.
Yep.
They had to do something drastic, or the game is just gonna be out of control in the next few minutes.
He's got a TP soon. It's already too late. He's going down. He's got the Skeleton Walk, but... No, oh, he's going to Glimmer Cape in. Got him. Sniped. I think the plan was to Glimmer Cape into a Nether Strike so he doesn't invis away, but he didn't have mana for it.
I think he actually forgot as well. You can't Glimmer Cape during...
he wanted to Glimmer Cape charge. Okay, I see what you mean.
You can only Shadow Blade, but you can't
yeah. He didn't want Chuan to get the Skeleton Walk off because they had no detection. The gem now on Visage, but he was down towards the bottom side of the map. That's a stolen gem? Yep, it is.
It was the gem on the Queen of Pain before. Right now they can only maybe hope for using buyback, but using buyback to prolong the game is not going to win them, you know. If they have to buyback to defend, it's like they're still going to lose anyway.
Yeah, late game just isn't looking that impressive. 430 is going to be the Aura Master, you've got to imagine, with Vlad's probably something like an AC next. Maybe even considers a Shivers, but regardless, some kind of defensive Aura item. You've got Queen of Pain with a Hex, so there's potential for Luo to grow item-wise. Similarly with the Gyrocopter, but Gyro currently is on BKB SMY. You've yet to see those good late game items. And Butterfly kind of out of the picture against the Clink's MKB, which is normally the item you'd want, so more likely we just see something like an MKB Satanic type build up from him.
I think they are lacking damage though. MKB is definitely his next item.
Yeah.
I think they need more damage on him.
Well, and Clink's is going Butterfly by the looks of things. Has picked up a quarterstaff, so I think with that in mind, definitely MKB will be the item for Gyro, but he's not even going to get there by the time this push comes. He's bought a Helm of the Dominator for now, which I think is fine. A bit of armor, a bit of damage. It's a good value item for what looks to be a game-deciding fight.
Things have double damage. This is big.
Oh no, what a big problem for IG. 430 goes blinking into a stun. He won't even get up the BKB. He gets Nether Strike as well. He gets pushed back by the Force Up. He gets off the ulti, but it doesn't matter. Maybe it does. The Gyro trying to flag people down, but the DD Clinks wreaking havoc. Takes out the Tombstone. One buyback comes in. They kill off the Clinks. Old Chicken's died once. He may die a second time. He hasn't got that Octarine yet. He's not lifestealing. The Primal Split causing him problems still. Luo going to look for this kill. Primal Split has to back off. 430 still very low in HP. Old Chicken goes down. This Flesh Golem just amplifying everything that's coming out. Blink back from the Queen of Pain. Knows that one more Soul Assumption could cause some problems. Luo's going to be careful. Can't get hit by a Soul Assumption. It's going to be elsewhere. 430 BKBs and they hold. What a miraculous hold. That Gyro on the front lines just fought his heart out, died for the cause, and they held on.
Yeah, they fought into the tombstone at a very good position, and like you mentioned, the flash golem as well, amplifying so much damage.
The Clinks brought down the tombstone, but it came at the cost of his life. While he was focusing it, IG's like, oh,
Yeah.
we'll just kill you. We can do that.
They have to be very careful when they're diving in, like, into the tombstone and into the cooldown though. They have to be very careful when they're running into that.
It felt like CTY misplayed that fight, though. With a double damage rune, if he just played a bit more cautiously, it should have been EHOME's fight. Just have the Lesh on the front lines. He's the one with the
I think
Aegis.
he probably should have also focused the Brew for his team though. He thought the Brew was dead and he didn't really do anything to the Brew.
If the Brew died there, it was game over. It really feels like. Maybe he had buyback, I guess.
He had buyback.
It's at least you force a buyback and then EHOME can back off.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just much better to help his team focus the Brew instead of ignoring the Brew and going for the tombstone there. But it's hard to say though, because it really looked like the Brew was gonna die.
Yes. The Force Staff pushed him into EHOME, but that's, I think, still saved his life. That was Tron with the Force Staff. Just creating havoc. Like, when someone's getting focused like that, you just do whatever you can to try and help him out. And in this case, it was a forward Force Staff, which even got him in a better position for that Primal Split. With that.
Well, they're still not out of the woods though. They're still in a lot of trouble. They lost the tier 3. They were forced to use, I think, one buyback. Tron was the one.
Just Tron. I mean, I think the buyback's not a big deal at all. It's just your support who's already got most of his core items. He stole Soul Assumption as well. I don't know if we talked about that, but that's probably one of the best spells to steal in a team fight with how much damage you can dish out with it.
Yeah, he just wished he had the mana pool to keep casting it.
We'll see where he goes next as far as item progression. 430's picked up a plate mail and
one of the best spells he can steal from this lineup.
Yeah. I mean, outside of that, it's maybe a charge could do work if you hit multiple heroes with it, but it puts yourself in a bad spot.
You can't hit multiple heroes with Rubik with charge.
Oh yeah, you don't get the that's right. You don't actually get the greater bash. So charge actually isn't that amazing on a Rubik by any means.
Just the single target stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll see Gyro now to 2.5k gold. He's got buyback money, but at this stage, if you can buy a big item on the IG side, I feel like you buy it. If you're saving for buybacks in the hope that you can win late game, I think you've got the wrong idea. They're setting up, though, towards bottom. Rabbit in trouble. He's going to get initiated on. The hook shot is there. Does not get the BKB off. Forced up backwards. Can BKB now does do so. Turns. Call down. He's just going to hold his ground and fight for a little bit longer. They bring down the clock to start things off. Leshrac trying to finish off Rabbit. Should be able to do so. But maybe Lesh now in a bad spot. He beat BKBs. Looking to fight for now. Old Chicken will scare everybody away with his BKB, Pulse Nova, flashing lights all over the place. Luo needs a blink, will barely get it to the high ground. Primal Split Warriors will just cyclone up the Leshrac, and Kaka. Nether Strikes a Brewmaster Split, that's one way to do it. Here comes old Kaka, Split Earth on the ready. Telekinesis with the stolen Split Earth, they're going to lose 430 though. And that's a problem, this is where the buyback's likely to be forced out. IG have both with buyback, and looks like Brewmaster will use his first. They want to hold the gyros. He's respawning sooner, and his item progression much more important than the Brewmaster. So if possible, they don't want to buy back this gyrocopter. They want him to be able to farm something like an MKB.
I'm not sure if they can actually farm it in time before the next push.
Well, I think at this point, EHOME are waiting Roshan for sure. But they're also waiting on the butterfly for Clinks, which is... Actually, he's got it now. He's got the money for it. But you've got to imagine EHOME will wait Roshan, wait their next item or two. Even someone like Leshrac, Shiva's Guard is... Oh, it's actually complete. It's not nearby. It's complete. Old Chicken. He is 8,000 net worth ahead of Gyro. And that's where, as you said, IG are not out of the woods by any means. It's looking rough.
It's getting much more difficult for them to win the team fights, really.
Yeah.
They can't really burst anyone now because they don't have enough damage. So they have to use every ounce of gold on this Gyro to squeeze out as much damage as he can.
Well, it feels like they can throw everything to kill the Clinks or the Leshrac, but not both. It's only ever like one hero they can kill off. And once Aegis and Cheese come into the picture, then it's going to...
Yeah, it really depends on how they use their spells though, because if they are close enough to each other, you can use the Call Down and Flag and the Sonic Wave on both of them. Yeah, like you mentioned, if they
It's more
actually
you
get
can't
their
disable both. You can only really disable one with the telekinesis, and now it's Split Earth that's been stolen.
Yeah, I mean, if you give away the Aegis and Cheese at this point, I think it's more or less game over.
Yep.
Even now, it's really tough already. It's like
Ooh, Gyro goes
Probably
Satanic.
it's probably 8-2 odds right now. Wow, Satanic.
Very defensive. I mean, he's getting low early in the fight, so he can at least heal himself up against the Lesh, but his damage output just isn't there.
Yeah, I don't think they have enough damage though.
Yeah. Luo, by the way, bought an Ag, so he's got that more spammable ultimate. He can just use it more freely. I still feel like Luo wants to go for like a Refresher next, just for that double ult. Like, there's no damage coming from Gyro. It's going to come from Luo, which is where Refresher seems to be his next. I mean, again, we're talking about items which he may not even have before this game ends, but if IG can get there, it would be a huge boost. But right now, they're going to go for a smoke play. They've got to find someone soon because it's going to become quickly obvious something is up when this bottom lane isn't being pushed out. They're going to run right into Kaka. 430. Blink Clap is there. Luo goes up as well. Be a BKB Scream. Sonic Wave is there. Kaka gets low. He goes down. 11 in trouble as well. 430's going to get the split off. He won't. He just barely gets it off at the last second. Rabbit in the front lines. He's fighting the Clinks, but not a fight he can win. The Satanic does not do him much good there. Luckily, they've got the Undying still alive. The Flesh Golem is there. Old Chicken taking out the fight, but now the Spirit Breaker's back. He bought back for this. Looking to fix this fight, which started off poorly for EHOME. Leshrak, no BKB, no problem. IG back off. They lose Gyro and Undying, and 430 getting charged down. Kaka's in hot pursuit. He's got another strike. He's not going to go for it. Oh, with reason. It was the Rubik ready to telekinesis him, so. Not bad for IG, but losing the Gyro, still costly.
Not bad, not enough.
Yes, not enough. They needed a clean teamfight victory there. If they killed Clinks and Spirit Breaker and Clockwork and then got out without casualties, great. Even if then EHOME go on to get Roshan still, it's like, well, at least you got some cash to work with. Gyro can start working towards the MKB. I think he was attacking Clinks there with Satanic, but it's like evasion. Good luck with that. And then stun. Like, this Gyro's BKB is completely run down in 5 seconds.
Think MKB might have actually been a difference maker there. If he kills the Clinks faster.
Yeah.
Because he was focusing the Clinks.
They did bring him down, but the Queen of Pain survives the fight, although not really any items to show for it. As despite the fact Luo's had a fantastic game, 11, 4, and 15. He's back to farming, pushing out this top lane. It's going to be EHOME in the Roche pit, uncontested, easy Aegis and Cheese to go their way. Blinks will come on in as well. See who looks to take this one. Old Chicken could drop his Yule Scepter if he wants to be the bearer of one of these two items. I mean, 19 Bloodstone charges, not instant respawn, but pretty close.
You can give it to the Visage though. I think Visage with one of those is really good.
It's going to be Clockwork.
Oh, the clock?
Oh, IG on the high ground. They're actually nearby. Looked like they tried to come in to contest this one, but then they quickly realized, this is a bad idea. And guess what? There's a Dire Observer Ward. This is going to maybe set up a charge.
Oh! The hook!
Oh, he TP'd out?
Yeah, he actually saw him, but he didn't expect him to TP.
And he had no buyback.
Yeah, it was like he was running backwards and then he stopped to TP and the hook shot missed because he stopped.
Whew. Well, IG, hold on. If Gyro dies there, it's definitely over, even with him alive. Don't want to be too optimistic about IG's chances here. They may be defeated once again by EHOME in a best-of-5 grand final for a LAN qualifier.
2 days in a row.
Exactly. 2 days in a row is what makes it even more brutal. They've got to find some miraculous way to hold on. They still haven't lost any racks yet, but it's more the current state of the EHOME lineup. The items they've got, and most importantly, the Aegis, the cheese. 430 will copper split Earth. He's going to now get focused down by the Clinks. 4-star backwards. Trying the new target. Has a Ghost Scepter, though. This is just going to burn through the Clinks' BKB, but he's got Aegis now. Nice Cogs push. Catches out 3. Rabbit going to turn. BKB. Cooldown catches everyone. Old Chicken just running in. Does not have the Aegis himself, but he's just healing up. The Octarine Core not taking any damage. The Gyro can't even poke him. They've lost the Undying now as well. The Primal Split Warriors rendered ineffective in the front line. Spirit Breaker just going to charge forward. Scare away any potential defenders. And it's IG up against the ropes here, and they're really struggling to find a way to fight into EHOME. EHOME will claim the top lane of racks. Glyph will come out, but without Gyrocopter, without Undying, potential to defend, just not there. And IG maybe even looking to tap out. It is a Game 5 decider. They'll probably fight till the end here, but the end is near. A Sonic Wave available. This is really it, it feels like. Clink still even has the Aegis. He pops a cheese that's been pulled to him. He's back to full HP and mana. They're going to lose mid-racks as well. They may even lose bottom. They've got to make a stand here if they want to stay in this game. Otherwise, they may as well just tap out. And we're going to see EHOME go for that last racks here. Old Chicken goes in with the Edict. GG is called. EHOME, your victors here at the Nanyang Championships China qualifiers. Their second best of 5 victory over IG in as many days.
It all came down to that dive, my friend.
Yep. IG.
Just one dive.
I mean, they had that. It's very similar to, what was it? It was game 1 where IG had the good early game, but they had to play their lineup perfectly because once they lose that one fight, they didn't have the best late game lineup. Like Gyrocopter was, especially with where the Gyrocopter was, their offlane didn't get Gyrocopter a lot of farm. Once EHOME got a foothold on, they just took over. Very similar to what we saw in game 1 where EHOME managed to take game 1, but IG definitely made it interesting. This series as a whole. Whew. Good to see some different heroes here and there. We got the Clinks coming out here, as well as the Brewmaster return.
The techies.
The techies.
The
The
lone
last
tiny.
of techies, perhaps. Well,
Yeah, but it was just that point in the game where it actually just crumbled, you know. They just blinked in and just overextended. I think they definitely had a very good shot at the game. Even though they had a very early game base, like early to mid game base lineup, and Gyro wasn't farm enough. But they still had a really, really good shot up to that point. They just needed to be more calm, you know, and not dive and just take the tower.
they had an actual gold lead as well. It was 3,000 gold lead, and it looked like a gold lead that was going to keep getting bigger because they had the BKBs. They could take the tier 1 bottom tower. They could then go to the next tower. They could take Roshan, potentially. You don't know if it's going to go as smoothly. And most importantly, the Leshrac was struggling. That was the fight when Lesh had just picked up Bloodstone and got 5 Bloodstone charges. That was, to me, the biggest thing about that fight.
They got the Aegis after that fight.
Yes.
Bloodstone plus Aegis. And the other thing is the bans as well. They chose to ban Earthshaker over Lesh. That was also another question mark there.
I mean, they didn't want to give away Lesh and Gyro. If anything, they should have maybe said, let's just give away the Tusk here. As much as it pains them, give EHOME Tusk so we can ban out Lesh and Gyro. And then you play like a standard 6.84 draft. Instead, you end up with a game with Lesh, Gyro, heroes that are normally banned, and you get... I mean, this was a chaotic game. I liked how IG were playing. They were diving towers, playing so aggressive. It was the IG of old that was just so good, but they couldn't... It had to be perfect. They just didn't have that perfect decision-making.
Yeah.
I mean, the
I
one
guess you're
fight.
right. They just wanted to take the trade, Gyro for Lash, but it just didn't. They didn't execute everything perfectly. The whole game was actually really good, just at one point.
Yeah. And after that point, there was actually, like... It's not like after that point they played badly. They didn't make any big blunders after that dive at bottom. It was just... They were powerless after that. It was very much they threw away all control they had of the game. I mean, they threw away the championship with that one move, which is unfortunate to say, but that's what it came down to. So, great series, though. I had a lot of fun, and IG and EHOME both producing a great series. EHOME looking good. This is the second LAN event in a row they've qualified for. This team showing a lot of potential. With some new faces, too. 11 in the offlane's been really solid. Old Chicken at mid has, for the most part, been pretty consistent. And CTY in the carry role, again, they're players which maybe aren't 100% consistent, but the supports, to me, have been really maybe the best, strongest, most consistent part of this lineup.
Yeah, I agree. Their support cast has been doing really well. Kaka plus Lamb in all the games and all the series we've watched. So, can't wait to see them play.
All right. Well, that does it for China. We've got Europe beginning, guys, for the Nanyang qualifiers in a couple of hours, actually. I believe that starts at 8 a.m. Pacific time, so that's in about an hour and 10 minutes. Let me check quickly what games you guys are in for today, but we'll have LD and Merlini casting those games. I'm not sure exactly which games those are. They're not up on Dota 2 Lounge at the moment, so without Dota 2 Lounge, I am powerless. I don't know what Dota happens. But all the Europe action begins today. So tune in later on, guys. We'll have Europe beginning for the Nanyang qualifiers. But that does it. Big thanks, everyone who tuned in. Big thanks, Winter, to you for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always.
You're welcome. No worries. See you
problem.
soon.
All right, well, I'll see you soon as well. And you guys can follow Winter, support him on Twitter at WinterDota. You can follow myself at BTSGods. But that's it. We're going to go to a bit of a break now. We'll probably take the stream down and come back up in about 1 hour's time for the Nanyang European qualifiers. We'll see you then. See you guys.